Listen, we're here talking Apple TV today. We've talked positives, we talked negatives, and we'll talk a little bit of improvements as well. But we're a positive show. We like the good stuff. So why don't we start with some of the positives off the top of your head? Just give me some of your maybe your favorite or some of your favorite parts of this Apple TV deal so far. Let's get the good stuff out of the way.
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, my initial reaction to when this was announced is I thought this was the greatest thing that's ever happened in life. Especially being an MLS sicko, you're an MLS sicko. For hardcore MLS fans, this is the perfect idea. At least having all MLS in one place, having each club produce their own content for this thing, it is amazing. And for me, my favorite thing that I personally watch one is, MLS 360, just because it's impossible to keep up with every single match because they put them at the same time, which we'll talk about later as maybe a negative. But then also, I love the wrap up show in case there's anything I missed, or sometimes let's say Orange County match on a Saturday and I missed a lot that happened. The wrap up show does a great job at like giving me the feel of it. I love the little interviews and stuff. So those are the positives for me. And I do think like it truly is for the sickos of MLS. And if you are an MLS fan, if you're a diehard for your club, I also love how season ticket members get, the pass for free. Stuff like that. If you're a diehard for your club, I mean, the MLS 360 is great. There's no blackouts. You don't have to worry about, not being able to watch your team play.
Yeah, I mean, and the quality both in terms of just the actual picture. Do you remember watching on ESPN Plus, man? And it was
Oh
like
my
being
God.
filmed on a toaster. Like the
Oh yeah.
quality is phenomenal. The presentation, you mentioned it before, the pre-match, the post-match, in betweens. I love MLS 360. I know a lot of people who don't, but I personally love MLS 360. I don't, outside of Red Bull, there are not a ton of games that I look at that I'm like, I need to watch this game over all other games. But I do like watching all of the action, right? The important parts
Yes.
of the game. And here's the thing: this is where you get to see all the bangers, the heartbreaks, I promise you, if I wasn't watching MLS 360, not a chance I'm seeing Jacob Morel's bicycle kick game time goal in
No.
the 95th minute. Because who in their right mind is going to willingly turn on Chicago versus DC if you're not a diehard or a sicko, right? That just isn't going to happen. But on 360, you were able to catch it along with all the other games, right? So I think it's a really good addition, and it still can be improved, no doubt. But I think if you combine that with the off the field coverage too, I mean, the new series, which I'm still waiting for a friend of mine to watch, Onside, is bringing this to another level, right? You get to see behind the scenes and stuff that goes on that isn't just the game, which I've got friends like the person I'm waiting to watch this with doesn't watch MLS, doesn't only watches Red Bull with me because just something we do together, but doesn't care. But this Onside series, instant locked in. Like I want to see that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I'm trying to get anyone to watch MLS or get anyone into MLS, one, I mean, going to a match is easily my number one thing. Always, I'm like the biggest advocate for that. But two, show them on side, show them, stuff. The biggest thing that what I want to do with content, but just the biggest thing in general that I think MLS needs is for people to care about the storylines, care about the storylines that aren't just messy and that aren't just the big names, but get you to care about certain players. And the onside show is doing exactly that, where you're getting more insight into players' lives. I know you're probably a Tim Parker guy, those insights and stuff, diving into him. I love that. That's great stuff. And it also just shows for even the hardcore fans, hey, these are our idols, but also they're just like us too.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly it, right? You can always talk about the individuals overseas that people love, right? Oh, I'm a fan of this team because of this person, right? And you know that because they have access to who this person is off the field. So you have that link up with onside a ton. And you can talk also about how Apple has brought Messi in and had a big part in that. And I don't think that he's here without him, and that's a whole nother part of it. But the biggest thing that I love about it is the fact that it's actually, in my opinion, opened the MLS front office or the bigwigs, if you will, to change, right? So how long have fans been crying for things like increased salary cap or change in the schedule or all this sort of stuff, and you basically just get told, hey, trust the process, like it's all going to work out. We're 2 years into this Apple deal, and you're seeing changed all over the place. They put all games at one, basically within a 2 hour kickoff, and fans are like, hey, we hate this. You really should change this. We're in year three. We've got staggered start times, right? We've got Sunday night soccer special games for the big teams, which is brilliant. You got a host of other changes. And what I think that this does is not only make the Apple TV deal better, but I think it opens the door to MLS being a little bit more flexible when listening to it fans, right? If it shows that at the end of this year that the Sunday night soccer is the biggest thing that they have fans tuning into, or the staggered start times increases retention rate in terms of hours and things like that, then when they come over and you see fans who are like, we want you to raise a salary cap, maybe they actually start talking about it as saying, you know what, maybe fans will stick around if we do this, and then it's worth the investment, you know, and that's really exciting to me.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is, yeah, everything takes time, especially in MLS, especially in a league that's trying to maintain a certain level of parity and all that. You know, we all want the salary cap to grow and it and certain rules to get dropped. It won't happen just like that. But you know, MLS is showing their ability to listen to the supporters, and they see numbers, they see trends. The thing is that people understand is Don Garber and his team are actually very smart, which might be hard for a lot of people to swallow. But you know, they're very analytical, especially from a business perspective, and they're not going to do anything that's going to tear down their business model. So you know, everything will take time. But yeah, you mentioned Sunday Night Soccer. That's like the best edition I think we've seen in a very long time for MLS. I love how they're going to go hardcore at promoting it, and it really is hopefully going to be, you know, a great match. You know, last week was, you know, debatable Houston, Miami. But, you know, matches like Galaxy San Diego, perfect. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going this weekend to Galaxy St. Louis. We don't need to be Sunday night every week, but at least it's an intriguing matchup. And it will definitely at least get more MLS fans that maybe just watch their club. It will allow them to maybe watch another club as well if, you know, they're not the Sunday Night Soccer team, and especially if it really is that big of a match every week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, I remember when I first was getting into the league, early 2010s, and it was like Seattle and Portland joining the league, Vancouver joining the league, and they had their own slot Sunday nights on ESPN. And again, not the greatest picture quality, but I remember turning those games on and be like, oh my God, look at what Seattle's doing. Look at what Portland's doing. Like, I want to know more about them. And that's exactly what I think can be happening here with this Sunday night soccer is, like you just said, people who don't watch the team that isn't theirs, or is just a general fan is like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be, can go in and be like, oh my goodness, that's insane. And that is what we're looking for. So really, really excited for that 100%. But listen, like nothing's perfect, right? This Apple deal has been very good. We just talked about a lot of the goods and we didn't even hit all of them. Like there's so much more we can talk about, but it does have its drawbacks as well. So I did wanted to